Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Echo Choir, for that beautiful gathering music. My name is Allison, and I have your Sunday morning announcements this morning. Oh, I should have worn my glasses. Let me see. Mondays, come and sing with the Spirit Choir, live and virtually over Zoom. Oh, I don't know if those will help. Mondays, 7 to 8:30. If you're interested, contact Suzanne at music@nuuc.ca. Tuesday mornings, Wayne continues to host Coffee with the Minister. Tuesday mornings, 9:30 to 10:30 on Zoom. Wednesdays, meditation continues on Wednesday evenings, and our last meditation led by Wayne will be May the 18th, and that's at 7:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. The links for all of these go out in our Monday announcements. On Sunday, May 22nd, East End United and Rev Dan will join us for our Sunday service here. Rabbi Miriam from the Danforth Jewish Circle will also join us for our service in this new space. This will give us a chance to meet them and develop our neighborhood connections. Please come to make new friends. And you might want to come early to get your favorite seat. Mindful journey to Tuscany.
I just wanted to say that this will be the last journey that I lead with neighborhood, and I'd like you to consider coming if that's possible for you. I just wanted you to know that the last time we were sitting in a chapel, and on one side was Galileo Galilei's, tomb, and on the other was Michelangelo's tomb, and it was the private chapel for Mother Teresa, and it was just so exquisitely beautiful and so exquisitely creaky quiet. But that's the kind of thing we do, as well as do a reflection and see, of course, all the beautiful sights.
This coming Saturday, May 14th, from 3 to 5 p.m., we have a clothing recycle exchange event, again, after a couple years without being able to do that. We ask that you bring your pre-loved, good condition clothes to give away and perhaps find and take home a new treasure. Any unclaimed clothes will be donated to New Circles, and you can contact me for more information or just come next Saturday. And also we have a tribute evening coming up for Rev Wayne. Details have been sent out via email for this special celebration, which is set for Saturday, May the 28th at 7 p.m. It will go from 7 to 10. Please RSVP to Hala as soon as possible if you're planning to come. We have a concert coming up on Saturday, June the 4th. Gathering Sparks are our musical guests. We hope you will come and listen and walk away singing. Information will be sent out to the congregation on how to get tickets for that, and I believe that there are different rates available according to your ability. This week's question to the community: do you feel comfortable speaking your opinions, especially if they disagree with others in our public space? Ponder this topic. We hope you will be willing to share your reflections after service. And next Sunday, our theme will be Intro to Islam. We have a special guest speaker, Imam Dr. Abdul Patel, and the music will be provided by Fred Maycock and Phyllis Danu. We welcome you to Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation service. Thank you for joining us both here in our sanctuary and at home on Zoom. My name is Allison Kabayama, and I will be your service weaver this morning from our spiritual home, our sanctuary at 310 Danforth. The service is being recorded for the public both on YouTube and on our website. Joys and concerns will be edited out If you are here in the sanctuary and have privacy concerns, you may want to sit at the center back so you're not seen by our camera. If you're on Zoom, you can turn off your camera so you're not seen and rename yourself. I say all this, but I hope you won't. Being part of spiritual community is being seen, and risking lack of anonymity to participate with others is building an authentic spiritual community. We hope that is what you will do. Now, we have nowhere else to go and nothing else to do. So let us bring our hearts, minds, and spirits together as one, as we give greeting and gratitude for being with each other. This is our threshold moment. Let's enter sacred space together. Our service begins now. This morning, the chalice will be lit by another mom. Kim Knutson, will you please? Please join the choir.
We light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts.
Our prelude today will be sung by the Echo Women's Choir.
Just a tiny word about it. In 1969, Vera Johnson wrote this song soon after the moon launch, as you'll hear in the lyrics, for her grandson, whom I've met on Facebook, of course, Mike Kosowski. We have some of our aunties and mothers and grandmothers and piano accompanists missing from COVID and various other things today. So I hope you'll appreciate how wonderful it is that in some families, uncles and dads can fill in when others who are really good aren't available. Let's do this.
To get the the moon and left our prince in his dust. It's an age of marvels and we have to adjust. We can leap to the stars, but before that we must make a world where a boy can just roam. We can leap to the stars, but before that we must make a world where a boy can just roam.
Very nice, thank you. Others have gathered on this land before us, and we walk where their footsteps have fallen. I want to acknowledge the Wendat, Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nations that lived here before me and are living here now, together with Métis and Inuit. I offer my gratitude to our First Nations for their care for and teachings about our Mother Earth and our relations. I will work to honor those teachings. Good morning and welcome. Our minister is the Reverend Wayne Walder, and our musical director, Suzanne Mazars, is away this morning. Z. Getchell facilitates our Sunday Child and Caregiver program. Our special musical guests today are the Echo Women's Choir, led by Alan Gasser. We also have Mike Kosowski doing the Zoom web hosting duties, Reese Rogers operating our camera and soundboard with the support of Jason LaPrade. Thank you to all of them. By now, we all know Zoom etiquette. If you have a tech question or concern, send a direct chat message to Mike. We also have a wiggle room off to the side of the sanctuary which has sound and which families with small children are welcome to use as they feel comfortable. It is not a requirement. We are open to many beliefs and learn from many traditions. We welcome all people to our religious community. If you are visiting us in person for the first time, we welcome you and encourage you to stay after service. Our minister or staff can answer any questions about who we are and what we do. Our services can vary from week to week, so we encourage you to sample several to get a better feel for who we are. Our mission at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. Our theme for May is beginnings and endings. Today's theme is holding our space. Neighborhood truly holds a special place in my life. I have learned so much about working in spiritual community and about myself over the last 20 plus years. I have also been learning about interim ministry and about the process of reflection and discovery and recovenanting, which we will be undertaking together in the future. As we understand who we are and what kind of community we want to grow to be. We are each of us on our own path, walking a spiritual path in the real world. But what makes it bearable, nay, even joyful and life-giving, is the fact that we can align ourselves with others who are also walking a path. This is where the most growth can happen with the help of community, especially when we hold space for each other and for newcomers. I have learned that the democratic process is the best option for an inclusive community, even if it takes longer and can seem messy at times. I have also benefited from the fact that others have held space and made room for me to grow and make mistakes here. Friends have gracefully pointed out my errors and allowed me to repair or move forward without recrimination. Music has been one of my spiritual practices here at Neighborhood, and I am learning to connect more deeply with myself, to achieve better harmony, and to better blend in with my choirs. Some of you will know that I have a big voice, and bigger and louder is not mostly what is needed in a choir or a spiritual community, as it can stand out or cause another not to be heard. Therefore, I feel I have become a smoother stone than when I first arrived. I have much to still learn and know that similar opportunities can be extended to others in my presence. I have also been fortunate to have the privilege of working with the guidance of many excellent mentors in my professional and private life. Some of these mentors are people from this congregation presently or in the past. Elders who have generously shared and taught me just by being themselves. Hope Johnson was a beloved elder in Unitarian Universalism. She served as the Congregational Life Consultant for the UUA's Central East Region and Southern Region. She brought specialties in conflict resolution and multicultural congregational development. In the words of Hope Johnson, "We are one, a diverse group of proudly kindred spirits, here not by coincidence, but because we choose to journey together. We are active and proactive. We care deeply. We live our love as best we can. We are one, working, eating, laughing, playing, singing, storytelling, sharing, and rejoicing, getting to know each other, taking risks, opening up, questioning, seeking, searching, trying to understand, struggling, making mistakes, paying attention, asking questions, listening, living our answers, learning to love our neighbors, learning to love ourselves, apologizing and forgiving with humility, and being forgiven through grace, creating the beloved community together. We are one." Now is the time we take to greet our neighbors. Please adopt an attitude of consent and respect physical distances. And after you have greeted a few neighbors, perhaps you might turn to the camera on the back wall and offer a greeting to those joining us virtually. For those on Zoom, briefly unmute your device, switch to gallery view, and offer a greeting to those around you, and then to the people in the sanctuary.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Hello.
Morgan, I believe we'll sound the chime.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Hi,
Hi,
Terry.
Julie.
Hi, Hang.
John. Hi, Deidre.
Brenda.
Hi, Terry.
John.
Hi, Deb.
Deb. Hi, Deb.
You're feeling better soon, Deb.
Good.
All right, bye.
Hi,
Hey,
Sue.
Dee Dee.
Bye.
Susan.
Hello, Allison.
Everyone.
Susan.
Pat.
Good morning, Susan.
Barbara.
Good morning, John.
Barb.
Hi, Mike.
Susan, Suzanne.
Hi.
Many
You
Susans
know.
here.
Hi,
What at
everyone.
all of them?
Good. Barbara, hi.
Hi,
Listen,
Barb.
The Brady Bunch.
Hello.
Juliana and Sigrid.
Hi, Dee
Hello,
Dee.
hello.
Everybody in the sanctuary, they're pointing.
Hi, Mike.
Bill. Hi, Allison.
Hi,
Suzanne, there you
Reese.
are.
Hello.
Hi.
There's Gail, and Bill and Brenda. Hello.
I'm glad you weren't hit by a truck.
Oh, hugging. Somebody, hugging.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look, we've got lots of time to say hi today.
Oh.
I know.
Uh-oh. Oh, they're gonna cut us off now. Hey, Brenda.
John's got a red mug. He wants to talk to people.
Okay.
Oh, lots of people there today.
I like your narwhal, Sigrid.
Luann. Hi, Luann.
Boom.
Hello, Fred. And Doug.
Might need to do it again. Louder. A little
Narwhals.
bit.
And Laura.
Do you mind?
Hey, Bill and Brenda.
All you people who are there in person.
Near the
Can't
bottom.
see you all.
Oh, they're all sitting down.
Doug. How you doing?
There we are. There we go.
There we go.
Bye, everybody.
I
Long
invite you
farewell.
to join me in reading our opening words, which will appear on your screen. We also have Naomi Terrell here to offer some mime sign.
And join me if you like.
Yes, you can join in her gestures. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here. A space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life, a life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families. And now it's time for our first congregational song. Alan, would you like to introduce it?
I think I forgot to say good morning, but never too late, right? The choir's going to stay seated and answer these phrases that I sing in a kind of a call and response or repeat after me way. Those of you at home, feel free to sing out, Louise. Okay. You can sit for now, then we'll really be ready to stand after a while, right? Okay. So first phrase, listen. We are coming out of exile, coming home. Try it.
We are coming out of exile, coming home.
We are coming out of exile, coming home.
We are coming out of exile, coming home.
I'm feeling it. We are coming out of exile, coming out of exile.
We are coming out of exile, coming out of exile.
Last phrase, I think you know, it's the same as the first.
We are coming out of exile, coming home.
I'm just going to go find the real pitches in case the piano has gone sharp. And then we'll stand and, well, we can stand while I do that. Let ourselves roll over here. Yeah, it did. Let's do those first three pitches all together. You can find your parts. Ready? And we are come. Okay.
We are coming out of exile, coming home. We are coming out of exile, coming home.
We have a question to the community that we always ask, or we try to always ask, so that we get some of your understandings about spirit and life. And today's question to the community is, do you feel comfortable speaking your opinions here in front of everybody else, especially if they disagree with others in this space? What do you think? Yeah.
I'm getting better at it. I'll say it really helps to be a service weaver, because we're invited to be very thorough and contemplative about what we want to say. So when I do that, I feel more strong, in my opinion.
Thank you. Did you have your hand up? Yeah.
I would say after 35 years in a classroom, I'm way too comfortable voicing opinions that disagree with others. And what I'm learning is to keep quiet and listen to opinions that I disagree with, which comes much harder to me.
This wisdom that you have, you see, is important enough that we all need to hear it. What about others? Anyone else? Yeah.
I don't have a problem with speaking my opinions. The challenge is, like Peter said, listening to others, but then having the opportunity to change my mind when someone says something that speaks truthfully in my heart.
This is called a loving community, a beloved community, when we can hear and see the insights that all of us have. Kurt?
Coming from an artistic community, sometimes you have a lot of different opinions, and sometimes you have to accept that the majority doesn't accept your opinion.
We have time for like one or two more. Yeah.
I'm comfortable in my opinion and in disagreement. Where it becomes hard is when the opinions of others become heated, and sometimes it's challenging to stay focused in times of strife.
It is very tough to stay focused sometimes. Alan, did you want to? Yeah. This will be our last one.
I'd like to remember my mom, who had a really nice, sharp tongue and firm opinions, and she taught us kids to think for ourselves. Thanks, Mom.
That's great. Thank you all so much. I think that this is a time for all ages.
I think it is.
So I need some help with it now. And I wonder if the children, if you'd be willing to come up, and would you help me slide this over a little bit? It rolls, but pull it toward you a little bit, okay? There we go. Good. I wanted us to be able to sit, it's okay, Dave, don't worry. I wanted us to sit in a circle because inside the circle, I wanted us to do something together. And the only way this works is if we do it in a circle, okay? And I'm gonna need some help too. Yeah, come on in, come closer. You see, one of the things about having a circle is that we have to hold the space so that we can learn and demonstrate things and do things. I wonder if you could hold this for me. Do you think you could pour that water in here? This is just a plastic bag. And we're going to pour this water in. That's right. Pour it in all the way, almost put it all in there. Okay, it gets really heavy when all this water goes in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to seal it up. I hope I can. Do you think I can? No. A lot of confidence there. A lot of confidence there. Okay, now, you see this water? Sometimes when we have water like this, and it's not leaking or anything, I'm really happy. You want to touch it? Cold, huh? Yeah. You see, also, when we hold the circle, there's space for everybody to touch it and hold it and feel it. Do you see? Because we hold the space for everybody. Now, what would happen, I will, what would happen if I took this pencil and I jabbed it through, there? What do you think? Yeah? You think it's going to come out? Well, Well, that's probably true, but sometimes you don't believe it until you see it. So what about this? No, nothing came out. Now, I got, what's that? Oh, we're going to take it out, don't you worry. Now, I'm wondering if anybody wants to do, would you like to do? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, and maybe we can do it again. Okay. So you want to try it? Yeah, you have to go right in and all the way through. That's it. Okay, good. How about it? Now sometimes, when we're talking with each other, sometimes what happens is, it's kind of like these spears. It's kind of like we don't really know what's going to happen when we say things in a group. Sometimes we say things and maybe we hurt somebody's feelings or something else. But the fact is, if we just stay with it, everything usually comes okay. Comes out okay. It holds. But if we run away, what do you think happens? Now, all of you who put them in, I don't want you to do it this time. I'd like the people who didn't put them in to pull them out. Would you pull it out? Go ahead, careful. See, because when we run away, what happens is it all leaks out. Would you want to pull one out? Yes, you can. Do you want to pull one out? Come a little closer. Okay. Would you want to pull one out? Go ahead. Do you see, if we run away, sometimes even the things that were hard for us and might have hurt us, what happens is they stay that way. But if we stuck to it.
Yeah, but when the water goes down there and the holes are not
Yeah.
the water's going to stay in place because there's no more holes.
That's right. Can you what? You can try something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to try to stab it up.
No, I think that's going to be okay. Stabbing it up, I can just see that's going wrong, okay? I hope you will. So that's our experiment, and I want you to remember, yep, it's still leaking out, you see? There it is. Yep. I just want you to remember that holding this space is the only way we can all do this together. The only way we can learn and practice and actually get it right. So I want you to thank you very much for doing that. And these pencils I sharpened, so they're really, really sharp. So I'm going to take them back. Is that okay? They're so sharp, I pricked my own finger on them. All right. So this is the end of our story. Was it okay? Okay, great. I was hoping to give a little bit more advice today. I know that I offered some last week, and you were all very kind. I was hoping that our congregation would seek a connection with the Danforth Jewish Circle and also East End United, who are just on the other side of that wall. And I don't know, almost in a quirk of faith and goodness and synchronicity, they offered to come, and so they're going to come not next week, but the week after. Their whole congregation is going to come here and hopefully sit next to us, and we'll be able to see who they are and say hello. I also talked about we need to grow. Because if we don't grow, I think that we won't be able to have enough energy to do the kind of mission that we want to do together. And the last thing I wanted to offer advice for last week was to be able to have confidence in our leadership and in the new minister that comes. I think that that's so important. And this is the last bit of advice that I'm going to offer, these two pieces. I worry about democracy and the dangers of losing it. Not only the big democracy of our government, but even the little democracy we have right here. I feel they're in danger. Our fifth principle, the right of conscience, and the use of the democratic process within our congregation and in society reminds us how important it is to hold a common space together so we can teach, and so we can learn, and so we can participate and argue and love. Because it's hard to love all by ourselves watching a screen somewhere. Democracy is one of those spiritual insights humanity has developed over a very long period of time. Most historians believe democratic ideas started in Greece about 2,500 years ago. And since democracy began, we have been developing the idea of allowing all people to have a voice and a vote in the public sphere. We've added ideas and aspirations and laws and procedures to democracy. Some of the developmental ideas about democracy have come from the Haudenosaunee of the Native Confederacy. The framers of the U.S. Constitution used ideas from their leader, Hiawatha, about democracy to help them frame the modern idea we hold now. It's interesting that the leader, whose name means to awaken, as in awaken to a higher level of peaceful consciousness, was a catalyst for peace at a time of warring tribes. Hiawatha had his 7 daughters killed by intertribal conflicts, leaving him grief-stricken and struggling for answers as to how to frame a peaceful government. He left the tribe to wander the woods, his mind in a cloud, until he camped, the story goes, in a hickory grove. There, in his grief, he formed the idea of a government with compassion and consolation rather than vengeance. Hiawatha began to create a system of behavior, of governance he called the words of condolence. And this became part of the great law of peace that Jefferson and Madison and Hamilton all put together in the U.S. Constitution. This founding idea of providing space and prosperity, compassion to all people, is what they built, or what they tried to build at least. They offered power and voice to everyone so people could work and live together, as we have done here and as has been done in more than 70 countries around the world. Functional democracy means that we hold a space together, a space in the center, not only outside these walls in government figuratively, but literally the way we did with the children here, the way we're doing it here now. It doesn't matter who you are to be part of this space. It doesn't matter where you went to school, what your bank balance is, or how much you know, or who you know. The space we hold together allows each of us to learn here, to teach here, to express ourselves here, to take our ideas seriously. We can even be obnoxious here. It's the risk we take in order to freely express our ideas and join together. Sometimes we even forget that freedom requires responsibility, and that's why we have laws. When someone abuses the public space for their own gain, we try to remind them that the space has to be kept free for all, or at least we try to. But there are 2 dangers, I think, to holding the space for everyone. One of them is secrecy. Secrecy destroys the space of democracy. It destroys the space of democracy. When we have secrets in the public sphere, the secrets separate us. They make us suspicious. They make us silent. And often they cause us to run away. And you all know this because you've been in places where it's happened. Secrets, even confidentiality, if used as a secret, can damage our common space. I don't know if some of you might remember, but in our early years on Hiawatha at our other building, and I had always loved the synchronicity of living on a street named for that great leader, one of our members who counted money stole money from the congregation. He would count it and then he'd put a bunch in his pocket. Michael Daly, the president at the time, noticed something funny and asked David about it. He admitted he had a drug problem. Michael and I, the president of our congregation, went to 55 Division, the police division, and we spoke to a detective about what should we do. The detective said, if you hide this and send David away, it will be a secret that will eventually come out in the congregation. All secrets come out, as they usually do. No one will really know what happened, so they'll make up stories, most of them silly or destructive. He also said that if we charge David with a crime, we would need to keep it confidential too, because of the ongoing investigation, and that too would breed suspicion and secrecy. He asked us to consider restorative justice. Brilliant. And we did. We hired a facilitator, opened up the dialogue to everyone, and more than 30 people participated in our small congregation at that time. They had a great interest in trying to find out what happened. They wanted to know. After 17 hours of talking over 2 days, over 2 weekends, David offered to pay back the money and wanted to remain a member. He had a child who came to our lifespan learning, and we wanted him to stay as well. And over time, David paid 80% of that money back until he lost himself to drugs again. But the congregation knew everything about what happened. And as soon as those talks were completed, the problem and the damage was over. It had been settled by the transparency and the emotions expressed. In the 18 years since that happened, I don't believe anybody has brought it up again, except to say how proud they were of us doing it. David damaged the congregation, and he and all of us helped heal it. No one stayed neutral. Everyone became a participant. David came to the services for a while until drugs claimed him again, but he did a great service for us, a great service. These days, we might have chosen to use confidentiality to hide what David did and his drug problem and his son's connection to the whole difficulty in their lives. But confidentiality would not have worked as well, because what he did impacted everyone, and everyone needed to hear it and to deal with it. We were poor at the time, really poor, and that was a big deal for us. So my first piece of advice is, be careful with confidentiality. The definition of confidentiality is the state of being secret or of keeping secrets. And both secrecy and confidentiality involve an act of conscious withholding from others by means we know and some we don't. This can divide people into those who have a special relationship with someone or something and those who do not. In my opinion, confidentiality and secrets should only be used in community when intimate, personal information is shared. Personal information is no one else's business, and we should use it only to understand problems and offer support. I invite you to carefully discern the difference between confidentiality and secrecy in the future of the congregation, so that fifth principle can remain whole: the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregation and in society at large. Unitarian Universalist Francis David, who had a quote up in our old building just above the elevator, if you remember, he asked us to love alike because he assumed we would not always think alike. And we needed the courage to learn how to love alike when we couldn't think alike. After our healing ritual, I have one other piece of advice.
This is a unique time in our week and in our service when we invite you to share a joy or concern in your life. And I light this final candle for all the joys and concerns that remain alight, though unspoken, in our hearts.
We have a time in our community, we do this about once a month, maybe once every 8 weeks or so. We have a healing ritual. You know, we can't cure anyone. We don't have that power. But healing is different from cure. And what I'm hoping is that we can heal anyone of those things that cause us, well, you know, not to sleep at night, not to hold our shoulders so close to our ears that we can't hear. And the way we do it is the choir will start now humming a song that will go through the entire ritual. If you're in need of healing and feel that you somehow need something to help you feel whole, come up and put your hand on the chalice. And if you feel that you can, in some way, it's possible for others to be able to touch you, maybe on the shoulder where it's easy, then we can a second ring around those people who are here and have them touch their shoulder. And for those of you who don't want to get up, you can, from your seats, you can actually hold your hands out, wishing that they would touch you. Those of you at home, say a soft prayer. Feel yourself whole. Feel yourself grounded. Feel yourself connected. begin to let go and move back to your chairs. Pray with the words of Emil Durkheim, the anthropologist, that the hole in our hearts that we fill with God or whatever else brings us meaning, that you find a way to fill it, that you find a way to fill the hole in your heart. May we all. Thank you for having the courage to do that kind of thing. I know it has been so hijacked in a way. But you know, religion and spirituality is really to help us be able to live in this world. And sometimes we need more than reason and more than practicality to do so. So I have one more piece of advice. When we come together, we assume that the space we hold together is for us all. Like in the story and like as I spoke before, if the space we hold together is for us all, it must remain neutral. Neutral because there are people in our community who believe different things. There are people in the world who believe different things. There are people who know different things. For example, I know there are people in this community who disagree about abortion. I know there are people in this community who disagree about how COVID has been handled and how the truckers were handled and the way 100 other things were handled. I know people in this community who feel differently over many social issues. Not long ago, several people expressed their discomfort that we had to use politically correct language here that some wanted to use. Disagreement is not a bad thing. We will disagree. It's okay. Yet if we can keep our space neutral, then it can function as a place to learn how to handle the disagreement respectfully and lovingly. This is our aspiration. It's not getting everyone to think like we do. It's to respect that everyone can think, and together we can learn something better. We all know ideas and changing attitudes take time to mature. People require understanding and respect when we disagree. Calling people out, shaming people, never changes attitudes. It just makes people run. Democracy requires a neutral space between us so that we can do this together. And the neutral space is a place where we can learn how. When we do not think alike, we must, we have to, it's imperative that we learn how to love alike if we don't think alike. It's what the world needs, and it's what a neutral space allows us to do. We can, of course, have rules and behavior and decorum, but let's not fill the neutral space with virtue signaling. Virtue signaling is a subtle way of letting people know what the right thing to believe is, And if you don't believe that right thing, then maybe you shouldn't say anything. If we virtue signal what we want people to think in our neutral space, people will be reluctant to share their contrary views. They will close down and step back or away. And that's the last thing we want in a world where everyone is stepping away. It's the common good we need to build, and the common good happens when we have enough neutral space that we can all come together. And I think this is the second danger to democracy, that we'll fill the common space, the common neutral space, with what we want everyone to think. And if we do that, it's no longer a free space. And we would be saying the opposite of what Unitarian Universalist Francis David intended. We would be saying we must think alike to love alike. And that is not who we have been or who we are as Unitarian Universalists. We have historically been ardent advocates for the freedom to speak our minds. We have been the heretics. And I want you to know that democracy is not safe. It's not clean. It's messy. And nor should it be safe. It's a space to learn, and learning isn't easy. It requires us to let go of prejudice, of habit, of intellectual laziness. And this requires us to have some courage to grow beyond what we think. To grow beyond what we think. And this helps us have faith that our disagreement can be creative, and we can learn how to work better together. And from the neutral public space, we can teach each other, support each other, and most importantly, love each other. So we build the common good. It's loving alike, even if we think differently. And that could be one of the best spiritual messages we ever live. And thank you for taking my advice. Or listening to it at least.
Thank you, Wayne. No, this I can see. Now is the time for our offertory. Sharing of ourselves is part of every faith. Volunteer efforts are essential, but salaries are paid and programs created by your contributions. Baskets will be passed to collect your contributions, though members of neighborhood do choose a variety of ways to give, either through the baskets, predated checks, e-transfers, and automatic withdrawals. If you are online, please use the link displayed on the screen, which leads you to our donation page on our website. In all ways, I ask you to be generous. We will now pause and listen to Echo Women's Choir.
Let's march.
As we go marching, marching in the beauty of the day, a million darkened kitchens, 1,000 mill logs gray, are touched with all the radiance that a sudden
If you have found love and acceptance here, if you have found home here, if you have known kindred spirits here, let this offering be a token of gratitude for our common life as we build the common good. We have come to the time for our closing congregational song. Alan, will you introduce it?
Sure, phrase by phrase. I'll do it just like this. You'll hear what I do by how the choir responds, right? Okay. Better times will come.
Better times will come.
Better times will come.
Better times will come.
When this world learns to live as one.
When this world learns to live as one.
Oh, better times will come.
Oh, better times will come.
Together standing, 2, 3.
Better times will come. Better times will come. When this world learns to live as one. Oh, better times will come. Better times will come. Better times will come. When this world learns to live as one. Oh, better times will come. When we greet each one without fear, knowing loved ones soon will be here. When the winds of war cannot blow anymore, oh, better times will come. Better times will come. Better times will come. When this world learns to live as one, oh, better times will come. Though we live each day as our last, we know someday soon it will pass. We will dance, we will sing in that never-ending spring. Oh, better times will come. Better times will come. Better times will come. When this world learns to live as one. Oh, better times will come. When this world learns to live as one. Oh, better times will
I invite you to sing as we extinguish our chalice. I invite Kim to come forward, and our choir will hear the spirit choir.
So I have a final blessing for you and for you and for you and for you and for you. That your heart is whole and it's strong enough to enter into a common space and tell people what you think and hear what they think, so that something might grow beyond what the both of you think. Bless you. For those of you who would like to continue having some kind of fellowship here, we'll be having coffee in the room just on the other side of the glass doors. In that room, we can take our masks off and have coffee and such. In this room, there are 9 changes of the air an hour in this room. So if you feel a little bit nervous, you can stay in this room, and it's pretty well ventilated here. And if you want to have a conversation with someone, you can go into one of those side rooms, one of the side rooms that the children were in, for example, and you might wonder, how can we talk together when we disagree, especially in public? If we have any other questions that you have, please come and grab me. But we have a way of closing our service, and that's by looking at each other, making some eye contact, and saying namaste, which means I salute the spirit within you. And say it to a few people. Namaste, 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 namaste.
Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Our
Go in
service
peace.
is over. Go in peace and make sure you talk.